Alright guys, so now we can like and unlike a post. So what I want to do now is add the two routes. One will be able to add a comment to a post, and one will be able to delete a comment. Alright, so let's start with the add comment. So we're going to grab this header here and go down to the bottom, and this is going to be API/post/comment/:ID, and the colon ID is the post ID, okay, because we need to know which post we're going to add a comment to. Say add comment to post, and it's going to be a private route. So let's say router.post, URL will be /comment/:ID, and we want to protect it, so we're going to say passport.authenticate JWT. Put in our options. We just need session false. Okay, so we are going to do some validation here, but we'll do that after. Let's do the logic first. So we'll say post.find by ID, okay, because we want to find one single post. We can get the ID from the URL, from this right here, which of course we can get with request.params.id. And once we get that, that will give us a post back. Okay, once we get that post, we're going to create a new comment object to insert. So let's say new comment, and we'll set that to just an object literal. And this is going to have the text, which will come from request.body.text. We're going to have a name, okay, which will come from the body as well, and the avatar. And then we'll have the user itself, which will come from request.user.id, so whatever the logged in user. Alright, so now just like with the likes, we just kind of have to push this onto the comments array. So let's say add to comments array, and we'll say post.comments.unshift, and pass in our new comment. Okay, so that'll add it to the array. Then we finally just need to save. So we'll say post.save, and that'll give us back the post, and we'll just go ahead and respond with the post. Okay, and then let's just add a .catch here for any errors, and we'll go ahead and say res.status 404.json. Chances are this error means that there is no post to find, so we'll say post not found, and we'll say no post found. Okay, so let's quickly add the validation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add, let's see, actually, you know what? We don't need to add a new validation file. We can actually use the post validation, because all we really need to validate here is the text, because I mean it has the same fields as a post, so we don't even have to worry about doing that part. So we'll go ahead and copy what we did up here where we added a post, which was right here, the post API/posts, and we're just going to grab this and this, and we're going to go ahead and put that right in there. So let's see, right before we do anything, that'll check the validation and send some errors if there are any. So let's save this, and let's try to add a comment to a post. So I'm going to go back to Postman, and I'm just going to re-log in. So I'm going to go to one of my tabs here, the user's login, and let's log in as Brad. Grab the token, and we'll go over to, let's see, where do we want to do this? let's do a post to API/posts slash comments. Was it comments or comment? Oops, wrong one. I don't know why all these are showing up. Comment slash and then the post ID. So that's what we need. So it'll be comment slash and then let's see if we can find the post ID. All right, so this we have a post ID right here. You can also look in Mongoose. If I reload, probably have to log back in. And let's see, is this posts? No. We only have one. And that's the ID. It ends with D4. And yeah, this one ends with D4. So let's use this post. So we'll go back to this tab and we'll paste in the ID. And we should be able to add a comment. Now, did I put the new header in? I can't remember. Let's grab the new header. Paste that in. Okay, so now for the body, we can get rid of this stuff. All we really need is text for it to go through. So we'll just say this is a comment. And we'll send. Okay, so it gives us the post back, and take a look at the comments array. It now has an object with an ID. This is a comment. Automatically has the user and the date. All right, now when we build our front end application, the comment, it'll also have the name and the avatar along with it. But the text is all that's actually required from the server. So now let's make it so that we can delete a comment. So we'll go back and let's see. I guess we'll just copy the whole thing we just did. And this is actually going to be a delete. Okay, so it'll be a delete request, and it's going to be API/post/comment/ID. Now the ID is the post ID, but we also need to know which comment to delete. So we're going to say /:comment_ID. Okay, it needs both of those. And we'll say remove comment from post. All right, so we'll go down here. We don't need this validation. We're not actually adding any fields or anything. Then we're going to find the post by ID just like we did here. And it'll give us back the post. Okay, we don't want to create a new comment. We can delete all this stuff that we did. And what we do want to do is first check to see if the comment exists. So the way that we can do that is I'm actually going to use filter. So we'll say if post.comments.filter, and we'll use comment here, and let's say comment dot underscore ID, and we want to turn this to a string so that it works correctly. So we're going to say toString, and if it equals the comment ID that's passed in here, okay, not here, we actually have to add on to this comment, comment ID. Okay, so we want to match that, and we can get that with request params dot comment underscore ID. Okay, now we want to check to see if the length of this, so we want to say dot length is equal to 0. Now, if that's true, that means that the comment that we're deleting doesn't actually exist. So we're going to return a response, a status, of 404 because it's not found, and we're going to say JSON, and we'll pass in here an error, and we'll just say comment not exists, and the message will just say comment does not exist. Okay, now if it does, let's keep going here, then we want to get the remove index, okay, just like we did with the likes. So we'll say const remove index, and for this we're going to take the post comments array and we're going to call map. Whoops. We're going to call dot map, and we want to take each item and map it to its ID, so item dot underscore ID, but we also want to turn it to a string. All right, once we do that, we can get the index of, and we can pass in our request.params.comment underscore ID. Okay, so that'll give us the correct comment to remove. Now to remove it, we need to splice it out of the array. So we'll say post.comments.splice. We want to splice it from the remove index and just one. Okay, then we just need to save it. So that'll give us the post, and then we'll just go ahead and res.json with the post. Okay, so that should do it. Let's save, and now we should be able to delete the comment. So let's go back to Postman, and if we take a look here, we have the post ID is right here and the comment ID is here. We need both of those, so let's do a delete to post/comment/ and then the post ID, which is already there, and then slash the comment ID, which is this. Okay, so we'll paste that in. Let's send. Looks like we get an error. API post comment slash. Let's see. So comment ID. Post.comments.filter comment._ID to string. If it equals request params comment ID, if that length is equal to 0, we want to return comment doesn't exist. Let's see what happened here. API posts comment. We have the post ID. I think I know what it is. We have router.post. We did this before too. I should say I did this before. So that should be a delete. Let's try it again. And there we go. So now the comments array is now empty because we deleted that comment. All right, so our API is pretty much done. I mean, throughout the course, we may have to go back and change a few things. There could be a typo or something. Maybe we'll add something small, but for overall, the API is done as far as the routes go and the functionality. All right, so you've now built a pretty in-depth back-end JSON API. So now we need to start thinking about the front end. We need to think about the theme, the Bootstrap 4 theme. We need to think about integrating React so that we have the back end and the front end. We're going to be using Create React App, which has its own dev server. So our dev workflow is going to run the back end server on 5,000 and the front end on 3,000, but I'm going to show you how we can use something called concurrently to run both at once, so we don't have to, run the back end and then run the front end in different terminals and stuff like that. All right, so I guess this is what we've done is kind of the boring part. I mean, it's not boring, but the back end usually isn't as exciting because you don't really have that visual representation. You're dealing with just JSON objects and stuff. All right, so in the next section, we'll go ahead and we'll start on that.